I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember lying there, staring at the ceiling, listening to the building breathe. At some point, I started leaving my apartment camera on at night, not because I felt safer, because I needed proof. Proof that I wasn't imagining things. Proof that time wasn't slipping. Proof that I was still in control. At first, nothing happened. Just empty rooms, still hallways, lights that stayed on, shadows that didn't move. Then one morning I noticed something small. The recording was shorter, by about 12 minutes. I assumed it was a glitch, storage issue, power hiccup, whatever made sense. That night, I turned on every light in the apartment, bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, even the hallway. I wanted to remove every shadow, every corner, every place something could hide. I placed the camera on the shelf near the door, wide angle, full view of the living room, bedroom entrance visible, bathroom doorway visible. Then I went to bed. Sleep didn't come easily. Every sound felt amplified. Every creak in the building made my heart jump. Eventually, exhaustion won. I woke up at 7:42 a.m. The lights were still on. My phone was on the floor. The camera was still recording. I sat up slowly. My body felt heavy, like I hadn't rested at all. I opened the footage, skipped forward. Normal, normal, normal. Then I saw myself enter the frame. Time stamp. 3:17 a.m. I was barefoot. My eyes were open, but my face was empty. No expression, no emotion. I walked from the bedroom into the living room, stopped in front of the camera, and stared directly into the lens. For almost 30 seconds, I don't remember doing that. Then I turned my head, slowly, toward the bathroom, and something behind me moved. Not a person, not a shadow, just a distortion in the air, like heat above asphalt. It stayed close to my back, too close. I stepped forward. It followed, perfectly synchronized. Together, we disappeared into the bathroom. The camera kept recording. Empty living room, bright lights, nothing else, for 12 minutes. Then I came back, alone. I walked straight to the bedroom, lay down, pulled the blanket over myself, and went still. That's where the missing 12 minutes were. I sat on my bed watching the clip on repeat. My hands were shaking. My mouth felt dry. I told myself it was sleepwalking, stress, some dissociative episode, anything that didn't involve something else sharing my space. I tried to recreate it. The next night, I stayed awake as long as I could. I sat on the edge of my bed, scrolling through nothing, listening, waiting. Around 2 a.m., I started feeling that familiar pressure, like the room was compressing, like the walls were leaning in. I checked the camera feed on my phone. Everything looked normal. Living room empty, bathroom door closed, light steady. I stood up slowly, walked into the hallway, looked directly at the camera lens. Nothing happened. No distortion, no shadow, just me. For a moment, I felt stupid, like I was chasing ghosts created by exhaustion. So I went back to bed. When I woke up, the lights were off, every single one, even the hallway lamp. That alone didn't make sense. I always leave it on, always. My phone was charging on the kitchen counter. I know I took it to bed. I replayed the footage. At 3:17, I sat up, untied the string from my wrist, lifted the glass off the nightstand, placed it carefully on the desk. Then I stood, walked into the living room, stopped in front of the camera. But this time, I didn't stare. I whispered something. There was no audio, but I could see my lips move, slow, deliberate. Then I pointed at the bedroom. That's when the distortion appeared behind me, stronger than before, almost solid. It wrapped around my shoulders like it was wearing me. I started testing myself after that. Small things. I'd write a number on my arm before sleeping. I'd place coins and patterns on the floor. I'd stack books in ways I'd notice if they shifted. Every morning, something was wrong. The number on my arm would be smudged. Coins I placed in straight lines were scattered. Books I stacked by size were rearranged by color. At first, I thought I was just moving in my sleep. But sleep doesn't organize things. Sleep doesn't make choices. I started leaving voice memos for myself before bed. Short ones, time-stamped, simple. Today is Tuesday. You locked the door. You turned off the stove. In the morning, some of them were gone. Others were replaced. Same voice, same tone, different words. One said, "You don't need to remember everything." I checked the camera. At 3:17, I was standing in the kitchen, listening to the memo play, nodding, like I agreed with it. That's when I started losing track of days. I'd wake up thinking it was Thursday. My phone said Sunday. Receipts in my pocket I didn't remember earning. Food in my fridge I don't buy. Once I found dirt on my shoes. Wet dirt. Like I'd been outside. But the door camera showed me never leaving. I stopped trusting mirrors. Sometimes my reflection would finish blinking before I started. Sometimes it would hold eye contact longer than I could. I covered them all, bathroom, closet, hallway. It didn't slow anything down. The camera started picking up movement in empty rooms, small things, shadows bending, light shifting, something passing too close to the lens. One night, I stayed awake on purpose, sat on the couch, lights on, camera recording, phone in my hand. At 3:17, my vision blurred, not like falling asleep, like losing signal. I came back to myself standing in front of the camera, breathing slow, hands at my sides. I was watching myself from somewhere behind my eyes. I tried to scream. My mouth didn't open. I tried to move. My body didn't listen. I felt something adjust my posture, straighten my shoulders, lift my chin, like it was fitting into me. When I woke up for real, it was morning. The camera was off. My phone was in the sink. And there was a new note on the wall, in my handwriting. It said, "Almost there." I don't know who said that, but it wasn't me. Last night, I woke up sitting on the edge of my bed, my feet on the floor, my hands in my lap. I didn't remember getting there. I checked the camera. At 3:17, I never left the room, but something else did. It walked down the hallway, paused at the mirror, adjusted its posture, then continued. And that's when I finally understood. It doesn't want to replace me. It's practicing. Sometimes when I close my eyes, I feel myself standing somewhere else, in a different room, watching someone sleep. And I'm terrified because I don't always know which one of us wakes up anymore.